Today, and we got to get some things and go to the bank and get some groceries, and it's a wintry day.
April the 4th,
April the 4th.
2023.
We're going to go down by the creek. There's the White Mountains up there. It snowed yesterday. It was 75 degrees on Sunday. It was 74 on Saturday. Yesterday at between 12 and 1, it was 23 degrees and blowing from 50 to 70 miles an hour. And snow was coming down. We got 66 hundredths of an inch of snow, a little over half an inch of precipitation actually. And a lot of that was just in simply like popcorn snow. It's stuck on the side of the buildings, not on the ground. We're going down by the creek now. There's clouds in the sky. It's supposed to be snowing a little bit on Montgomery Pass today. I hope it isn't. We'll go down here and see what this was. It probably froze up a little bit overnight. Yeah, there's ice on the side of the creek from yesterday. You can see ice there on the creek, I think. The willows are kind of looking like they want to bud. My poplar trees are wanting to put out some leaves, but even though it's April the 4th, it's still in the middle of winter time here, seems like, even though we've had a few warm days. We're going to go up here by the house now. You can see that I painted some of the house a little bit. I have to go back in the garage and get some ice. You can see there that the siding is painted, at least with a primer coat. I need to jump up there and take that cardboard off because it's tearing up the screen. I'll let you look at the White Mountains until I get back. Well, I'm back in here. I got the ice, put it in the ice chest. We live about 70 miles from town, so we have to carry our ice chest to put our perishable goods in. We're going to go around here and see if we see the wild horses.
They're up there, honey.
Oh, they took off running, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, didn't they?
Oh, yeah, they took off running. But the dogs probably got out again. We're going to go down through here. On the ground there, I always leave some grain for my pigeons, doves. And now you get to see our little bit of a paint job here. See there, Marilyn?
Yeah.
The paint job.
It looks nice.
Yeah. I'll go down here and turn around. There you can see it almost matches there.
Well, it's that color, so it kind of blends in.
Yeah. Anyway, I got that done the other day. I still got a lot more painting to do. And the horses are here a while ago. Probably Jaime's dogs came out. They don't bother the horses, but the horses are afraid of the dogs, so they take off running every time. Here we go to town now. We'll leave the property. Look at those white mountains up there. There's winds that touch the top of those mountains and it blows snow thousands of feet tall. Creek is a lot of frozen area on it. There's one of our birds there. Come in and out. We had a lot of trouble with starlings this year. I shot about 100 of them. They come in and they chase all the other birds off, the quail, the chukars, whatever's here, doves, and they want all the food for themselves or whatever they get, which is a survival thing, but they also eat every bit of fruit. They'll get your fruit when it's ripe that day and they will eat it all. They won't leave one bit. So we have to take measures to cut the population of them down. Now we're going to town. Just a few weeks ago, this was a tunnel down through here. There was still snow on the road everywhere. They had graded it, and it was like a tunnel. Robins flying across the road. Another robin. The wind is blowing out of the north, cold north wind. There's the pond on the Arlemont Ranch there, where there's a lot of large fish. Big trout. There we go down the road. horses down here. There's about 12 or so. I'll take a look at them, what they look like and everything, and I'll let you know. See if I can get the money out. Yes. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Storage containers that we're trying to get put up here to move our property up here. We're going out the north end of Highway 264 in Nevada. I don't know what we're going to see on top of this mountain today. There's no telling. We'll see what happens over there. Today. I hope we don't have snow over the pass. It must have been snowing very hard yesterday, blowing 50 to 70 miles an hour. And the wind chill was down around zero almost all day today. It's actually blowing about 20 miles an hour today. something. Over to the left there is where a large quantity of petroglyphs are. On top of that mountain to the left, there were at one time mannequins that they put up there, ancient, you know, several hundred years ago, and they would drive antelope down to here, and some of the hunters would be behind hunting lines, and they would get up and shoot the antelope as they came by. They put mannequins on top so the antelope wouldn't go there. Put out so many men to drive them then. Antelope were a very large portion of their diet as far as protein goes. Antelope, bighorn sheep, and mule deer. I imagine the Mustangs that were here, they probably used them to ride. This was the Western Shoshone tribe area, actually the furthest west that the Western Shoshone occupied. Fish Lake Valley was the Fish Lake Valley, Eureka Valley, and Saline Valley, and Death Valley. That was the end of the Western Shoshone territory. I'm glad you're liking these videos. Our video equipment is not the best in the world. We do have a camera stand here in the car, so it makes it a little easier on me. I don't have to hold the camera and drive at the same time, though I can't get all of the scenes and things that I did when I just held the camera. Blood clots on the cat on the road, because I know that a horse or antelope or something died there. I really treasure all of them. There was another one there. Still another one. Truck drivers that come through here don't slow down for anything. I guess when they hit one of them, they have to slow down for a while. It doesn't tear the truck completely up. Some of them have extra bumper guards in this country like this, so they do hit a horse or something and it won't bother them so much. That looked like the mail going that way, the mail deliverer. Still snow on the ground in here in places. I hope the pass is not, the road is not covered with snow. Thank all of you that ride along with us. Thank you for your likes and for your subscriptions. I hope you're enjoying these trips. I do these as often as I can. We go back and forth to town at least once every 2 weeks at least. I think it was a month before we went to Bishop during all the storms. We had plenty of food and everything, but we couldn't get out if we wanted to go anyway. You couldn't get over these mountains. You couldn't leave either side of this valley at all. And I think some of you saw the videos of all the snow that was on the side of the road here. We don't have our photo gallery any longer, so I can't put out the photos right here. My neighbor's car was stuck in the snow there, and it was up to the roof of the Forerunner, Toyota Forerunner. It had to be completely dug out and drug out of there. Here's a place where we have a lot of flash floods right there. We're coming up to the stop sign here, and right up here to the right, at one time, Marilyn and I were here, and there was a pack of wolves after a herd of horses. And I shot at the wolves. They were all way off, but I shot at them, and they left the horses alone for a while. There are wolves up here. Some people think they're very large white coyotes, but coyotes are not 150 and 200 pounds. Coyotes are 35, maybe 40 pounds, maybe 45 at the most. There's a graphical mine over there. They make a substance like cement to waterproof swimming pools and fountains and things. That is ore there, all the white looking fun stuff. I hope we see some antelope or more wild horses on our way. You can see there's still snow side of the hills, mountains. It's 34 degrees outside right now, and the wind is blowing stiffly. So good. Oh boy, I said that a little too fast. As about a 70-mile-an-hour gust of wind hit us. It about blew me across the road. Lake Valley, there are places where the wind blows in excess of 100 miles an hour down in the central part of the valley. And the south part of the valley is narrow, so the winds blow there very often and hard. There in Old River, where our other place is, the winds come through there between 100 and 150 miles an hour. There is a little hurricane alley in there or something, and it's always been there. When they plowed up the natural prairie grass there, it became a sand dune area, and it was miserable with all the sand blowing. had 6 to 15 foot of sand come in there that we had to move. Sand doesn't melt. So the guy pulling out in front of me here. A lot of trucks up in this area over this highway because nothing else is. Hope nobody else pulls out in front of me here, which they will do. Get around this truck. From somebody. Premature in his takeoff there. Looks like the truck is running empty maybe. You can see the snow is more prevalent. On the side of the road. We came right through here one time, a big rock was out in the road and an ambulance hit the rock, a very large rock, and it tore the whole front end of the ambulance out there, and it didn't have any tires or wheels or front end or anything left on it. It was just all gone, laying out there with a person going to the hospital in there. That wasn't good. Last time I said so far so good, something happened, so I'm not going to say that anymore. One thing about these little road trips, your families can go with you without ever being with you. Almost to the summit here. Just almost at, we're going to be past summit. We're going to see the summit here very shortly. You can see that the Sierra Mountains today, 7,167 feet above sea level. This is going to be a nice sight going down here today. Wind punching me around on this highway here. in Queen Valley. And it looks like it's thawed out now. It's been frozen for several months. Sierra Mountains over there. Beautiful, loaded with snow. One of the largest snowpacks, I think. 7 years ago we had some pretty large snowpacks up there. But this is the heaviest I think that they had in maybe 40 or 50 years. Horses so far. That we probably will. They might be down a little bit lower. See those beautiful mountains over there on both sides. There's the White Mountains up there down there at Montgomery Peak. Most of the White Mountains are about 40 or 50 miles. Many of them are over the range up there is over 14,000 feet. Whitney down there, about 70 or 80 miles from here, on down the Sierras, is the tallest mountain in the continental United States, but it was not the tallest mountain always. White Mountain was, they say, taller. Between World War I and World War II, they went up on top of White Mountain, on the very peak of it, and blasted the top of it off, and flattened it out up there. And they built a high altitude radar observatory up there, because it was so high. It is still 14,252 feet. How much of the mountain they blew off, I do not know. Probably 600 feet or more. But the tailings from that were pushed off of the western side of the mountain. They built a road going up the eastern side of it. And of course they didn't want the debris down there on that side. So they pushed it off on the other side. Right here is a newly developed gravel plant. Gravel and even have clay, a lot of clay there. That they work on the roads with. Like they tore up at least 200 acres there doing that. They could have found some place that had more rocks, even though they got some rocks there. But there's some places that have a lot more rocks. Even here to the left right now would have more rocks. We're coming into the state of California. In just a moment. Like it blew some signs down here. These horrendous winds. Highway 95 is probably closed. And they send all truck traffic over Highway 6 to go up to 95 and then go north and 95 south. Truck drivers drive like they're in a real big hurry. There have been a lot of accidents up here because of that. This dangerous driving. Meadows is up here to the right. That's some pretty wilderness areas back in there. All of White Mountain is pretty much wilderness. There's places up there that maybe a man has not stepped a foot track in 150 years or so. The Native Americans were all over that mountain. And the gold miners and silver miners from times past were also looking for gold and silver. There's a lot of it. Now we're coming to an area where there's a lot of cactus. What the cowboys call jumping cactus. It's called cigar or something like that. But I don't like it. It's dangerous. We're coming up to the agricultural step check station. Right here at Benton, there's a road that goes all the way up to Yosemite. It's Highway 120, and Highway 120 ends right here. Or starts. Whatever you want to call it. Come up to the check station and say Fish Lake Valley, and they wave us on because that's just over the hill. They'll ask you, where are you coming from? They know me so well that they just wave me on most of the time. like they're waving everybody on now. Yep. That was a guy I know. Now we're coming up to the large burg of Benton. And over to the right, just over that hill up there, is Benton Hot Springs. A neat little town. They still have the hot springs out there. Now there's the road to Levining and the gateway to Yosemite. You could probably say the road's closed in 10 miles. They were trying to get around up here during the wintertime. There were blizzards, and some of them got, I think, 18 cars or 20 cars got stranded up there on that road, trying to get to a shortcut to Bishop. The roads were just closed. That's all she wrote. They rescued the people, but they didn't rescue the cars because they didn't have time for that. Here we are. Bishop, 36 mile. Vining, 51. Yosemite Gate, 62. Closed in 8 miles that way. By the little Benton School and library. And Smalley's Market. They're pioneers in this country very much. Moselle Lemon and her husband Buck settled in Fish Lake Valley on a homestead, and her sister and her husband started the market over here. 1947. Right in here, not too many years ago, was a great, in the wintertime, the deer would come in here and eat out there in the alfalfa fields. And you could see 200 to 500 mule deer out there, but I don't know what happened. They're not there anymore. It's kind of like the Pacific Flyway. When Jim Boyce destroyed Fish Lake, the ducks and the geese didn't know where to go. Neither did the wild horses, the bighorn sheep, or the antelope. They used to be right out there to the left. That's where so many deer used to be. You'd see them in the fall. When the snows hit the Sierras, they'd come through here and they'd be out there, and then you go up the Sierra and the White Mountains. There's a lot of food here for them. That wild sage out there is absolutely nutritious. Coming up here to the old headquarters of the Maranatha Drilling Company. Drill water wells. Now the road was washed out here in many places. Some places 10 foot to 50 foot deep. they had to come in and fill in all the ditches on both sides of the road. They were all just a cavernous ravine, and it washed away everything but the road itself. In some places, it washed away the road. Right in here, there was some pretty deep places, but they have dumped dirt back in. Seeing the White Mountains and the Sierras at the same time. Deep ravines there. This was a 50-footer here. There's still pretty big drop-offs out there off the side of the road. It's like some tractors going to Bob Bender's Tasteful Selection potatoes, I imagine. Dropping down into Hamel Valley now. It's 40 degrees outside now. This one here was really deep. Still deep on the left side. Big wash out there still. Like they've been busy filling it in. We had 5 or 6 foot of snow, and then we had 2 inches of rain in a warm storm. Boy, did the snow melt and did the floods come. 2 inches of rain would be enough, but all that snow. Foot of snow means at least 5 foot more of water, or 5 inches more water, that is. You can see where it's all washed out. They've been trying to fill it in, but it's quite a job. It'll take a while, I'm sure. Paint today to paint the outside. of traffic on the road. Lots of traffic. Some deep gullies down there or washed out on the left-hand side of the road. I'm trying to show you that a little bit. That's probably 10 to 20 feet deep. In some places. Looks like they've worked on it. Got some of that straightened out there. Ranch and Boathouse Ranch and White Mountain Ranch. Up to the left up there is the Sparkplug Mine. There was a doctor that thought that there was a mineral up here that would just be right for making porcelain on spark plugs. And he dug around up here and found it. And the Champion Spark Plug Company basically got dibs on it. He sold most of the product to them, and that was the best product for making porcelain for spark plugs there was. See if I can get around here. I can see where I'm going. And the White Mountain Ranch was formed. Now we're coming up to Boathouse Ranch now. White Mountain Ranch was formed to feed the miners. And they fed the miners 3 fantastic meals a day. It was quite a little way up that hill up there. But every spark plug, Champion spark plug, porcelain on it, came out of that mine for many years. Let's see if I can get around this truck now. Yeah, maybe. My car cooperates. Sometimes this thing on automatic driving gives me trouble. It's supposed to be anti-collision devices, but sometimes they are almost collision devices. It's 45 degrees outside now. Supposed to be 45 degrees in Fish Lake Valley today. It was 35 when I left, and blowing hard. Our big wheel line over there is all froze up. They were watering with a temperature below freezing, and it's an ice palace out there. Bishop 18, Big Pine 34, and Lone Pine 60. And there's Independence in the middle there. Actually, Independence is the county seat. There are a lot of counties up here, though. Mono, Inyo, Esmeralda, Mineral County, Nye County. Down into Chalfont Valley now. We hope to do a lot more videos on our road trips as we go from here to the Bakersfield area. I want to go to the Bakersfield area, and I know a lot of people are interested in Buck Owens still. And I'll show you the places where I knew that he lived. He was my stepfather's nephew. His wife, Phillips, was my stepfather's niece, and they named the last boy Johnny Dale Owens, and Dale was my stepfather's name. It was named after him. Slim Princess back there, the guy that lived there a long time ago, was named Peterson. And I gave him a lot of my hens out there because they were very hardy. And he had a little homestead thing out there where he lived moved up out of the Los Angeles area up here. And I'm sure he is long gone dead by now, but anyway, he was a friend of mine back then. People would come in here and buy places out in the country like this so they could get away from the big city. And they're still doing it. Windy over here today also. And a little vineyard back there. And this little diner here, Flo's Diner, number 50 style diner. The food is not too bad, even though it's a little bit expensive. Everything's expensive out here in the tourist areas. Sometimes they give you a local discount. Even at Denny's up here, we get a local discount. Sometimes they used to give us local discounts at the gas station also. We'll shut the camera off now until we get to Bishop.
It's an army.
Now we're coming into Laws. This is where the Railroad Museum is. We will drive down here just quickly and drive by the Railroad Museum. You might want to come here and visit that one of these days. It's pretty nice museum. Looks like a FedEx driver there. There's FedEx out here and UPS and all kinds of stuff. Now we're coming up to the Laws Railroad Museum. By the way, this road goes all the way up and over the top of White Mountain. It is very precarious up there, but and it's four-wheel drive, but it does go over there. And you can go on down, all the way down to, well, there's a repeater site up there on Silver Canyon. Now we're coming up here to the Railroad Museum. Along here slowly. Maybe see the little houses and things out there. All kinds of little exhibits. Things showing early pioneer life here. The old depot that was actually here. They didn't have to move it anyplace. We'll turn around and get a little bit better picture of this. Some of the old housing that was here. And you go in there and it'll show you different kinds of the ways they lived and what they had here in the early days before electricity, with wood burning cook stoves and kerosene lanterns and things. I'll turn around and look at this. We got to ride the train here. Ooh, where's the train? Maybe they've got the train someplace and maybe they're rebuilding it, hopefully. Well, let's stop here. We got a Forest Service truck coming anyway. Hole number 9 was here. Hopefully they're rebuilding number 9. People are getting really excited about this. Well, number 9 is not here that I can see. So they must have taken it. We broke it loose from the ground. It was had been froze up for many, many years. And we hooked onto it with number 18, I think it was, and they had rebuilt. And we broke they pulled it and got the big old engines turning over. Now you can see back up there, you can see mammoths toward Mammoth and all the mountains up there. You hear about Mammoth, and the Mammoth gets feet of snow, not inches, and that's where it is up there. The big Mammoth ski area. We'll drive up Highway 395 up into the Rite Aid, and used to be the Safeway shopping center, but then Vaughn's took over Safeway, and then Safeway, now the building there is housing several different businesses. One of them, Big Five, and AutoZone, and other things there. Montgomery Ward's used to be there a long time ago. And I bought a little freezer there around 1985 or something. And it finally quit this last year. It worked all of those years. And I'm sure it could be made to work, except the coils, I think, are leaking in it. Water standing out here. You see some beautiful mountains. People come from all over the world to see these mountains up here. I'll take you down one of these days to the Cottonwood charcoal kilns, where they made charcoal to run the smelters for the silver mines, the different mines there down in that area. They would float the timber down chutes, water-borne chutes, down to the charcoal kilns, and they burn them and take the charcoal out and send it over there on ferry boats. Actually, they were big the old steamboats that were powered by water wheel. And they ferried the cargo over and then ferried the silver back. They brought out hundreds of tons of silver. But they burned a lot of trees. They even come up here in the White Mountains and cut down some pinyon pine and even bristlecone pine at times. They did not know how old they were at that time. There's no telling how ancient some of those trees were they cut down. Even Schuleman cut down a live bristlecone pine tree that was the oldest living tree there was. The oldest living thing in the world. He did it by accident. He did not know it was that old. And when they started taking core samples of it, he just like fell through the floor when he realized how old the tree that he had killed was. It was close to 6,000 years old. And then they leapfrogged those, or one sprouted in 2000 BC, and there was one that was in 4000, 6000 BC, and they leapfrogged those trees, and they're the greatest history, what we call factual history, known. They recalculated carbon dating with those trees. They know the exact year and the time of the year that Vesuvius exploded. They did not know, but they know now because of those trees up there.
We're in Bishop.
We're in Bishop, California. Going by the grocery outlet. We're going to go turn right and go up the hill up here. Here at the Shell station, they used to give you local discounts for gasoline and diesel and whatever. Now we're going up Highway 395. they really enforce the chain laws on this road. I always think they can get by with almost anything. There's nobody up there to control it. We just have gone by the Bishop Fairgrounds. The water level is so high here that if you dig a post hole, you're going to hit a water well. If you try to put a cellar in the house, you got a swimming pool. A lot of the old homes up here had cellars, and they had to seal them off because when they digged 2 foot deep, you had a water well. The trees here, they don't have to water the trees in the town of Bishop. Even though the LA Water and Power puts great water restrictions on everybody up here because they want the water to go down to Los Angeles. For many years, and probably still, you could not wash your car if you lived in Mammoth, and here's where all the Mammoth lakes are. You could not wash your car in Mammoth. They would not allow it because of the water conservation for it to go into the LA Aqueduct. Here's some antique stores here. Someone has a Bronco for sale. And the world famous Mahogany Smoked Meats Country Store and Deli. Coons Gallery, a art gallery in Glenwood Mobile Home Estates, and O'Reilly Auto Parts, AutoZone, Big Five, Rite Egg, the Fed Up Store, Subway, Outlet Store, Domino's, Pizza. We're going to stop in here for a minute at Big Five. I have to get some pellets. Here we are.
Do they have very much stuff in there?
Yes. Well, we're going to go down here. We're going to see the Domino's Pizza, the Subway, and all kinds of stuff going on here. The Fed Up Store. The Great Basin Bakery is going to be opening soon. Looks like they're working on it still. Under construction. There's the Rite Aid Market. Your thing there is having a fit, that oxygen thing.
Oh, it does that.
You probably got the oxygen cut off or something.
No, it'll go. It's okay. I'm getting oxygen.
Okay. Gonna go down here now. I was going to go up here and do something also. I forgot to do that. Have to go back to AutoZone because I have to get shocks and struts from my Tundra because it's bouncing around all over the road. Do that quickly. Hopefully quickly. Right back in here to AutoZone. Here we are at Rite Aid in Bishop, California, and we are going to, you can see the White Mountains in the background. That's our front yard from the other side of the mountain. Turn this thing around, Marilyn. You're not getting any oxygen. You're not getting any oxygen. Okay, there. That's good. It's not beeping anymore, is it? And we're gonna go through Bishop here.
You have to go to the bank?
Yes.
That's just a reminder.
Here we are going back toward Bishop on Highway 395. This one goes up to Mammoth. $5.19 a gallon for regular at Chevron. Most of these streets over here have Paiute names on them, or Paiute Shoshone sometimes. You get to see the beautiful mountains. The LA people driving like maniacs. There they go. They're used to driving on the LA freeway 100 miles an hour and not getting stopped because the cops, they won't stop. Up here, sometimes it's different. They come up to Mammoth and then they drive like maniacs up here. One of them came up the other day and they were doing 130 miles an hour, lost control of their vehicle and ran into the shoe store down there. And tore up 2 cars, killed a few people. They were in a hurry to get to Mammoth, except Mammoth was closed. You couldn't get to Mammoth. So they killed themselves over nothing. But they were so doped up that they didn't know it anyway. Sometimes they come in here so doped up from LA that they go into a gasoline station and they can hardly get out and walk to put gasoline in the car. Sometimes we have to put up with that because this is somewhat of a tourist town. Through town now. We're coming up to Bonds and Smart Final. Don't work ahead. Marilyn, where do you want to eat lunch today?
Denny's?
Denny's. Going through town. They are working on the roads here. Taco Bell, Shatz Roadhouse. Had pretty good food there, but the service was not very good when I went there. And there is supposed to be a restaurant up there on the top of that building there that's for seafood and steaks and lobster and all that. Here's the El Pollo Loco. Their food is okay. And the Holy Smoke Barbecue, and Carl's Jr. and Schatz Bakery, world famous Eric Schatz Bakery. Eric just passed away from COVID here a year or so ago. There's the bowling alley, and that's pretty good food there sometimes, most of the time, except it's very high. And I think they got a Japanese restaurant there, and sushi bar, McDonald's, and world famous Jack's Waffle Shop, which isn't really Jack's Waffle Shop anymore, right? We all call it Jack's Waffle Shop because they're used to calling it Jack's Waffle Shop. Jack's Restaurant and Bakery. And then the Looney Bean Coffee Shop, and I don't want all they have in there because I don't drink coffee. Vigo's Restaurant, and the famous Bishop Theater. That used to be Jack's or Joseph's by right market, and now it's not anymore. I ought to go in there with a camera to Bill's place, his coin shop, and do a little video of that someday. I have to go get paint. We're at Line Street and Main Street in Bishop right now. And over to the left is the old Bishop Bank. It's been a 50 thing since then. And the Spellbinder Books. And also the Meat House, Meat Market. Perry Motors, where I bought about 3 new cars in the last 40 years. And there is a car museum to our right there. That whole building is built to house a car museum. Cars and fancy trucks. Now we're going to pull in here to High Country Lumber, and we're going to see if we can find some paint. There is another paint place here, which I might go try to do that. They might have that paint that I need there. Maybe we'll try that out. I haven't been there. Here's the lumber yard. We got a lot of lumber here to build our buildings at times. Of course, I went to Home Depot and Tehachapi and Bakersfield and Ridgecrest and Reno and a little bit of every place. This is going through the yard here. We're going to go down and look at the other paint store we haven't been to yet. There's the girl that owns that tap house now too. She's working here, I guess, also. Looking back to the Sierras again. Isn't that beautiful? And we'll drive down here. And there is the car museum over there right next to Perry Motors. We'll go up here and we're going to go to the paint store and see what the paint store has. have a Family Dollar store there, and this is a physical therapy place here. And over here. So we can look and see if they have paint that we need. There's Bill.
Yeah.
That's Bill. I think this is the place where the paint is. Yep, that's it. There used to be a bookstore back in here. I doubt it was there. It was a real fabulous bookstore. Right in that building right there. There is a thrift store there. And this is Alpine Paint over there. We can get in here and see about the paint business. We'll see.
Okay.
Marilyn wanted to take a picture of the beautiful Bishop Park. See all the white blossoms on the trees, even though it's still winter time, the trees are blooming. Hope they don't hurt them. I bet they're just ornamental anyway.
Or I think it's an ornamental pear.
So ornamental pears, and the doves are out. The doves are out there. The seagulls and the ducks. This is a beautiful place to live here. We'll go around and go into the Bishop Park. We just ate here at Carl's Jr., where our friends treat us like $1 million. They really do. Wonderful.
You can't make a left turn, honey.
No, I'm not going to make a left turn. I'm going to go right.
Okay.
And there's El Pollo Loco.
It's a good place.
Taco Bell. And the seafood and steaks. Now we're going to turn right here. Up there, as we turn, you'll see white mountains, and they are white. Now we go down this road here. That used to be the old Kmart there. Going down here, there's creeks just running down the streets here. Little streams in Bishop. There to the right of us there, right here is a stream running all the way down side the road. These were all flooding the other day because of all the rain and the snow melting at the same time. There's the dog park. Like got two Springer Spaniels out there. We'll turn right here. We're going to go up in here. This is the baseball park and soccer park, I guess. All these snow-capped mountains around here. We're going to go down here. There's the dog park again. Everybody and their dogs.
There's my dog.
There's the baseball park there, and they're playing baseball, girls' baseball, it looks like. Or women's baseball, or something like that. Anyway, they're females of some sort, old or young. We're going to go through here. There's another baseball park. Like Bill's pickup there almost. Holy Smoke Barbecue, and then we're going to go down here by the park and look at the ducks a little bit. And there's a swimming pool down here also, right straight ahead. Bishop Swimming Pool. That's where Dakota and Thomas swam when they were little. There's the trees that are all the white blossoms on them. We'll drive in here for just a moment and look at the park with all the ducks and the kids playing. Right there's the ducks, if you can see them down there. And a golden retriever dog being walked through the park. I have to go grocery shopping for a few minutes. Ducks are moseying along in every direction. There's some over here. Going down and going swimming. We're driving around to the senior center and to the rest of the park. I always said this is one of the most beautiful cities in the world here. If it wasn't in California, I'd live here. But this is our hometown, so to speak. This is where we go shopping and everything. The dog park and the RV parking. Going to a different part of the park now. Seagulls are flying all around and the ducks are flying. Sometimes pelicans. There's the lake. There's a little.
Look, isn't that pretty?
How beautiful. Marilyn and I have eaten lunch here many, many times. We just go get our lunch and come out and watch the ducks and things, the ski gulls. Seagulls have migrated in. There are ducks all over also.
You wouldn't think they would migrate into here.
There's a lot of water up here with all these lakes.
They're beautiful.
Little town America with a great big backyard. A little town with a gigantic backyard. Beautiful. A long time ago, Marilyn and I, about 25 years ago, we'd come up here and we'd bring our motor home and we'd stay all night in Kmart. The Kmart parking lot. You see the White Mountains up there. Another baseball game going there. There is a transit up here, Sierra Transit. They come all the way to Fish Lake Valley and bring you over here for $6. And you can go to the senior center, go shopping, whatever, and they'll take you home and drop you off. Here's the senior center to the left and more of the park here to the right. We'll go down this way in the park. Look at those beautiful mountains on that side. Bishop, you got beautiful mountains on both sides. We'll go down here and turn around and come back so you can see this beautiful little park. There's the lake out there with a gazebo on it, and then the little playthings here for the kids. Dakota used to come and play here when she was little. Her and Thomas. We're going to go back this way. Here's the Bishop Senior Center, where the seniors go and get a lunch and get to see each other every day. Sometimes they come and play games there. I think bingo and stuff. Another kiddie park here. Looking back at those White Mountains. These big old cottonwood trees. People come and camp here from all over. There's somebody camping right there. Here we go into a little housing development and a trailer park. Out here in the evening, you will see deer out here running around all over the place. You have to watch out for them. They get out and get in front of you sometimes. Going by the little community here. I guess this might be called the east end of Yaney Street. There's a trailer park where my friend Bill lives. There's a deer sign because the deer are here. You have to watch out for them. We're going to go in the Bonds parking lot and we'll get gasoline and go to Smart and Final. Might even have to go into Bonds, I don't know, according to what they have and don't have. Here we go. And out here to the right are a lot of deers, but there are mules here. Now this is a bunch of mules out here. You can see the mules. This is the mule capital of the world, you know. Bishop, the mule capital of the world. Horses and mules. watching us. It's there. Backside of Bonds. This is where the Super Kmart was at one time, which we loved, but they closed it down. They should have left any Kmart in America open. This should have been it, and this should have been this was one of the last Sears stores that was open here also. Now look at that scene up there. If you can imagine your front yard looking like that. Isn't that beautiful?
It is.
I hope you enjoyed riding along with us today. I'll flip this thing around a little bit. This is the Bonds, Super Bonds market. Right there. Go over here and get some groceries at Smart and Final, which is right over that way, straight over there. I'll have to go around that circle a little bit to get there though. This is the Bonds gas station. If you buy enough groceries, you can get a discount on your gasoline here, which sometimes we do. But I have to make sure that Smart and Final doesn't have it before I go over there, because you can get 10 or 20 cents off your gasoline, but things are pretty high in Bonds. But I'm glad we have one. We don't have a Bonds in Fish Lake Valley. Looks like Smart and Final is loaded up today, so we'll go there and see about that. See what they have there in that store. I think somebody's got my parking place, maybe. I always park here at the end, but this is better here today because there's a little bit of shade. Park right here. And I'll shut the camera off. Marilyn wants some chicken tenders, so we're going to go back to Carl's Jr. and get her some chicken tenders. And while we're doing that, I'm going to take some more video here of this beautiful town of Bishop, California. There's a Buick from Fish Lake Valley or someplace in Nevada. Go back to the ballparks here and look at those beautiful mountains up there. The sun shining on them. Beautiful.
I had to laugh that they had a fire plug for the dogs.
Oh yeah. In the dog park, huh?
Mm-hmm. And they were checking it over.
Yeah. Here we go. That must be Bill there someplace. You want me to park you here so you can look at the ducks while I go in there and get the food?
Okay, if you want to, honey.
That's a little bit further for me to walk, but that's all right.
Just get like a couple of them.
I'm not going to get you a couple. I'm going to get you 5.
Oh, no.
Okay?
What?
I'm going to leave the camera going. Okay?
Okay, that's good.
And it'll sit here and take pictures of the park. And I'll be back in a few minutes.
Okay, honey.
It's recording now.